taxes any more than is absolutely necessary, which, I mean, in my opinion, not like 95% of the time, not absolutely necessary.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's good. I liked that you had that idea and you were already thinking about that, and that you were thinking about actual things to accomplish actual things, and not just saying, "Oh, I'm good," like, "Hey, look at me, I'm good." Like right away, you were like, "Oh, hey, boom," this is what I want to do.
Right.
And, so let me ask you, because I met you the other night at the meeting when they talked about the apartments.
Right. Looks at camera like Jim Halpert on The Office.
Yo, I'm telling you, because I felt like there was a point when they asked a realtor a question, but the board members were so focused on how do we criminalize this negligent property owner. So how do we charge this dude with a felony? How do we charge this dude with a felony?
When it had already been said by the police chief, we can't.
Yeah.
So that,
it's a civil matter.
In my opinion, when the police chief goes forward and says we cannot charge them with a felony, in my opinion, he's the expert. We can't charge you with a felony. Let's move on.
Right.
To me, that should have been the end of the discussion.
Yeah.
And then it went on for 30 more minutes?
Man, I don't know. It was a while. It was a while, and it that kept circling. Now I got a message that, and I don't know if you've seen it or if you got it. I'll send it to you. Okay. Kind of detailing. I think dude's name is Steve. Was his name Steve? The guy that was up talking.
Jimmy?
Well, there was Jimmy, and then there was
Sean.
There you go. So Sean had been, and there was somebody before Sean, and then Sean took over at some point. But since 2018, they've been in contact with the owner and the finance company, and talking about different things with the property and all that. So I got the whole
spiel.
The notes.
Yeah.
Basically, the notes about the emails, and who was contacted when. I mean, when I saw it, I was like, I'm really hungry right now. Thank you for sending this to me. And so they've been really on it, on it, doing something with it. However, at this point, it's like, one, it's a privately owned piece of property, and so there's legal steps that they have to do. It's not just like eminent domain and take a car, take a house or take this or take that, and Kevin said that, I mean, I also will say his name. You're running. So Kevin said he was going to run, right? Kevin Settles, the one he's been there 16 years.
He's been there 16 years.
Yeah.
He, to my knowledge, he picked up paperwork to run for mayor. So, again, until filing, we can't say for sure I'm running against Kevin or whatever. So that's why I'm always and I'm just the kind of person that I've always hated the mudslinging of politics.
Yeah.
So it's like I try really hard not to be like, oh yeah, this specific person, yeah, I hate them. Like, because one, I don't hate anybody.
And not saying that you hate Kevin.
Yeah, no, I don't hate Kevin.
Yeah.
And I really don't hate anybody on the board.
Yeah.
And like there's some directors I get along with really well.
Yeah.
LaVon and Dre and Neil I get along with really well. Kevin and Robin, meh.
Yeah.
Like I just don't really talk to and Jared, I just don't really talk to them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just one of those things. And George Katsavas is George Katsavas, and he runs his own ship.
Yeah, because George is a Fort Smith guy.
Oh yeah, I mean you can find him at George's all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean like if we run into each other, we talk, we catch up, and
driving a 30-something-year-old vehicle.
Yep,
that's. that's the way he governs.
Yeah.
Though, he's got good business and things like that. I know he's got other family that owns businesses and things here in town. But really, he governs to where he doesn't want to spend the people's money.
Right.
And that's a big point.
Yeah. And I mean, like, and I have on my on one of my cards is like, I'm fiscally conservative. Is like, I'm not going to be like, hey, we need to spend all of this money. But once all of the things that we can do for free have been exhausted, we got to spend some money.
Yeah.
So in my job, I'm criminal justice coordinator for Washington County.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about that and what you do with that.
Yeah, so the short explanation is criminal justice coordinator for Washington County. So the short explanation is that I work with judges, law enforcement, and community members to help reduce the jail population and recidivism, which recidivism is kind of a $5 word that basically means reoffending.
Yeah.
And that's like the most common question I get after I give that spiel is, wait, what's recidivism? And I'm like, yes, this is things that I know that not necessarily everybody knows. Mm-hmm. And so I am working on that. And so what we do is we have a committee, a criminal justice coordinating committee, and we have the public defender, the prosecutor, several judges, a couple of community members. ERISA Health is basically the counterpart to Western Arkansas Center for Counseling and Guidance Center. Down here, ERISA Health is that up there. And so we have a couple people from there. Their crisis stabilization unit manager, she's on our committee. And so we look at the things that we can do for free. We're holding an amnesty day, like a failure to appear clinic. And so if anybody has a failure to appear warrant out for them, they can come to this clinic, talk to the prosecutor and the public defender, go before a judge, and plead their case. Because, sometimes people miss an alarm or they don't have a calendar and they
plead their case for their charges or their case for, hey, this is why I missed.
For their charges.
Okay,
so
right there, so they don't have to go. So basically, you're talking about people that miss court, something like that, got a warrant.
Yep.
Now they don't have to go and pay the warrant fee.
Right.
Get that.
Right. So that's the goal of this failure to appear clinic is to, because if they get picked up on a speeding charge or any other charge, then they're going to jail. Well, our jail is already overcrowded, so that kind of reduces that right there. And their last amnesty day was their first. It was held back in January, and they were able to plead 27 people, which may not seem like a lot, but that's 27 beds. And
I think of it that's 27 lives
that too
that are connected to other lives that aren't interrupted.
Yep, 27 jobs that aren't lost, 27 car payments that aren't missed, 27 apartments that aren't for apartments or houses that aren't evicted. And so what we try and do is go before the quorum court, which is the legislative branch of the county, and
sorry, my brain.
You're fine.
I got arrested on a date one time.
Oh, no.
They said it was like $50. I didn't pay. I had a $300 fine, and I was supposed to be the good guy.
Yeah.
Like my mom set me up with her friend's daughter because she dated all these thug dudes, and I was supposed to be the good guy.
And then you got arrested.
Her taillight or something was out, and we were coming back from somewhere, and we get pulled over, and then they ID'd me, and he was like, "You're not a runner." What? What do you mean? Why? And I found the receipt like a year later where I paid it in full.
Yeah.
And this is years ago before I guess we still probably have problems with computers. But,
100%.
So, sorry. That's why I was smiling.
That's great.
Like,
I love it.
Man, I tell you.
I love it.
Cost me a relationship.
But yeah.
Over $50. So that $50.
Right. And then the
cost
other.
me the 50 plus the 75.
Yeah. Well,
plus
and the other problem is you were the passenger. Why are they IDing the passenger?
Hey,
We could go down that road.
We'll have other talks about
I'm happy to come back.
How that works.
I'm happy to come back.
Yeah. Well,
I have lots of thoughts.
Yeah.
But
so Washington County.
So Washington County, and so we have to go before the quorum court, which is the legislative branch of the county, and we have to say, hey, so right now we're hoping to get a diversionary case manager, which that person would look at the people in jail as they come in and say, hey, you qualify for this program. You qualify for drug court. You qualify for veterans court. Let's get you into that program and out of jail.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to hire a diversionary case manager. Well, you know how quorum courts are. They don't want to spend money. And they don't want to spend money if it's not proven, which is really hard to prove until you've already done it. And so it's like we're in that vicious cycle. And so I understand the asking side of it. Mm-hmm. And so I hope that will help in the giving side of it, in the saying, okay, have you explored other options?